Hi everybody. I know, long time no see. Unfortunately, I'm only going to be able to do one video a week. I'm going to try to do one video a week, which will be Thursdays, because Thursdays is my day off. Weekends are for my family, and I'm just too busy during the week. I don't have time to make videos, because by the end of the workday, I'm extremely tired. I'm closing more frequently, meaning I'm working later than I would like to. But it's Christmas time. I have not done any Christmas baking. Today is a day off. I have my family Christmas this Saturday, so we are going to be making a dessert for that gathering, and then next Monday I'll be doing baking for my family. So let's get started. So step one, if you haven't done it, clean your kitchen, because when you're baking, you're going to need space. And today for my family dessert, I'm going to be making a sugar cookie cake. I've had my butter out. You want to soften your butter. I also pulled out some cream cheese this morning to soften as well. I'm going to be using this to do a cream cheese frosting for the edges. So let's go. I have small counters, so I don't have quite a lot of room. So you're gonna find whatever recipe you want to use. It's just a simple sugar cookie recipe. That's all it is. I'm using my family's recipe for sugar cookies. You use whatever recipe you want. So you're gonna start by mixing all your dry ingredients, your flour, your salt, and your baking soda all in one bowl. Okay, how you can tell if your butter's soft enough is just by squeezing it. If you can squeeze it and you can feel the butter moving, it's soft enough. Now you're gonna want to cut this up. It'll be easier for the mixer. Okay, so I've got my flour and baking soda and salt in here. 1 cup butter, 1 stick unsalted butter, sugar, vanilla, 1 egg. Now let's go over to the mixer. Now at this point, you want to preheat your oven to 350. I know using a dough hook for this would be easier, but I don't have one. It's on my shopping list. But we're going to start by creaming your butter and your sugar. This process should take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure this is locked, because I have a habit of not locking it. We're going to add an egg. And a couple drops, 2 to 3 drops of vanilla. That was definitely more than 3. I always go heavy-handed with this stuff. Not purposely, but I do. I end up having to add a little bit of water to this to get the dough ball to form. So when you have to do that, do not add, you're going to want to add some more sugar. But a little trick that I learned, powdered sugar. When you're forming your cookie, let's say for example, we're not making a cake, we're doing actual cookies. If your dough is like really sticky to your hands and you can't knead it, do not add more flour. You want to add powdered sugar, because powdered sugar is going to keep the sugar form of the sugar cookie. If you add flour, your cookies are going to have a floury taste. So like also when you're like rolling out your cookies on the table or wherever to stamp them, you want to use powdered sugar, not flour. Those are just little tips and hints that I learned throughout the year. See, like when I'm touching this, it's sticky. because if it sticks to your hands, sticky. So we're going to add a little bit of this. I don't really measure at this point. It's still a little sticky. And don't wear, baking is messy, okay? So don't wear anything you don't want to get white. I probably should not be wearing this jacket, but it's keeping me warm because I'm freezing. All right, so we're gonna move dough ball into the bowl for now, and then gonna clean up a little bit, and then we'll move on to getting the cake ready. My oven just beeped, so let's get this going. So we have 2 9-inch cake pans. Okay, we're gonna start, I'm gonna trim this, the paper more once I get the cookie in there. I may not do, we'll have to wait and see what I have to work with here. And if the dough keeps sticking to your hands, I'm just gonna take a little powdered sugar and just rub it on your hands so it doesn't stick. We don't want to use, like I said, we don't want to use flour because we don't want to take away from the flavor of the cookie. Okay, and you're going to spread this out. This is not cooking. I'm going to spread it out to the inside of the pan. Yeah, I think we might just do one layer. This is probably going to take this whole bowl to make one layer. Yeah, we're just going to do one. Maybe someday we'll do 2. I think we're just going to do one today. It's kind of all I've got patience for anyways. Be right back. Need to clean my hands before I put more powdered sugar on them. I don't want to mix yucky cookies with inside the powdered sugar. Okay. The purpose of the parsnip paper is to make it easier so the cookie doesn't, obviously, so the cookie doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, but also to make it easier when you go to remove it from the pan, because all you're going to do is lift. This is all experimentation. I have never done this before. I know there's recipes online for this, but I want to use my family's cookie recipe. To make this. I'm sure it's going to be tasty. Great grandma knew what she was doing when it came to baking. All right, so we're going to make sure this is rounded. All right, let me wash my hands real quick. We'll trim up these edges. Try not to burn ourselves. Try not to burn ourselves. I have a bad habit of doing that. couple weeks back, I got a pretty nasty steam burn across all 4 fingers from work. It's healing nicely. That's also one of the reasons I haven't been able to make videos. I had to wait for that to heal. Alright. Trim up these edges because we do not want to catch fire. That is no bueno. Not good. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now we're going to put it in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes, and you want the edges to be a lightly gold brown, but this is a pretty thick cookie, so it may take a few. I am going to start cleaning up, and we will see you when the cookie cake is done. That is one big sugar cookie. So now we're going to let her cool. Gonna add milk, about that much. We work with it. I don't measure. I just mix until it's the right consistency. 2 drops. Or a pour, or a small pour, whatever floats your boat. Powdered sugar. Like I said, I don't measure. Okay. If it's too thick, add milk. If it's too thin, add more powdered sugar. Until you get to the right consistency. I don't think that's going to be enough. It's the right thickness, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So we're going to add a little more. Add a little bit of this. Yes, Daisy, you can have the chair now. I'm all done with it. Is y'all done with it now, Daisy? Because I had to add a little bit more, I'm going to add just a little bit more vanilla. And your icing should be white. So if you put too much vanilla in it and it's giving it like a tinty color, add more milk and more powdered sugar. That just means you got too much vanilla in it. And this will harden as it sits. Sometimes it's best to put this on when the cake is warm, because it'll spread out better and then it'll harden as the cool. Yeah, but I don't want it all over the edges. That reminds me, I need to put parsnip paper underneath the cooling rack or something so the icing don't dribble all over the counter. Alright. I'm just getting tired. Okay, here's the icing. You can use this same recipe for sugar cookies. You can even add food coloring it to change the colors. Icing done. Now on to the frosting for the edges. Remember, I'm putting the icing. I only did 1 layer, not 2. So the icing actually is just better effect. So the icing is going to go on the top all the way around and then harden. The edges outside here is where the colorful frosting is going to go, just to give it some decorative. You are not going to frost the edges, the outside. You're not going to frost this part of the cake. You're going to leave that alone. Yes, there's a little hole there because I had to tear a small piece off to taste it to make sure it was okay before frosting. If it tastes terrible, I'm not going to commit. Cream cheese frosting is also very simple. And it only takes, for me, my recipe is only 3 ingredients. Well, 4 when you count the food coloring for the color. Cream cheese, powdered sugar, vanilla. That's it. And you can actually use this same recipe for a no-bake cheesecake. Speaking of cheesecake, Monday when I'm off again, I'm going to be doing a sugar cookie cheesecake. Sorry, my household favorite is sugar cookies. Christmas to me is sugar cookie season because chocolate chip cookies, you can have those anytime. Sugar cookies. Yes, I suppose you can have sugar cookies anytime too, but I've never made a sugar cookie cream cheesecake, so this is going to be an experiment. And when you're mixing cream cheese and powdered sugar together, make sure this is a lesson I learned the hard way. Make sure you start it off as low. Otherwise, you're going to get a big poof of powdered sugar up in your face. And trust me, I learned that the hard way. Okay, we're going to add some vanilla. See what I mean? Poofy. Okay, there it goes. We gotta add more powdered sugar. There we go. Sorry. An important lesson that I always forget to do. Taste test it as you go. If it still tastes, see, you're not supposed to taste the cream cheese. So if it still tastes like cream cheese, you got to add more sugar. And once I get it to the right sweetness, then we add food coloring. Red is overrated, so I'm using green for Christmas color. Plus my sprinkles are red. I also have white ones in there too for snow. Okay, let's see. I think it needs more of this. I'm still getting the cheesecake taste, the cream cheese taste. See what that does. Might need more sugar too. You'd be surprised, this does take a lot of powdered sugar. I think that's going to be enough. Little tip though too, if your cream cheese is not soft enough to do the mix, you can add a little heavy cream that will help loosen it, or milk. But I don't usually use those ingredients. This way. I actually didn't need to use that. So let's see where we're at. Pretty good. And we're putting a lot of green in because I want it dark. Not light, dark. I want it dark green. But I also don't want it to taste like food coloring. This is giving me Grinch vibes. If the Grinch were to make a sugar cookie. Probably as dark as I'm going to get it. And I just want to make sure that it doesn't taste entirely like. Tastes like cheesecake. It's missing something. I'm going to add a little sugar because it's not sweet enough. It still tastes like cheese. So I'm going to add a little granulated sugar. See if that helps it. Let's see if that did the trick. That did it. There. That's better. That did it. All right. Much better. It's not really the shade I was going for, but it'll work. Gives me Grinchy vibes. I like it. Here you go. Alrighty. Seems cool enough. I got a paper towel underneath so it'll catch the mess if anything drips. While this was sitting, I swore I had piping bags, but I apparently didn't. So if you ever come into the situation where you don't have a piping bag, you can always create one. These cans, I always save the tips. Take a Ziploc bag, snip a small hole, and then stick your tip in and then tape around it so it's nice and secure so it doesn't loose. But also you want to make sure that you have the hole in here not covered. Otherwise your frosting's not going anywhere. Right. Not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to find out. We're going to put that down for a minute. We're going to scoop the frosting in the bag. And tilt it into this. Not sure how well this is going to work. I'm going to pause this. Okay, I think I got it. So. So, the icing ended up exploding out of the bag. So this was not the original design that I was planning for, but we'll make do. Okay, I do apologize for my barking doggy, but she does not like the neighbor. So now we're just gonna add some sprinkles, making sure you get them all over the counter because that's important too. I'm gonna scoop them in my hands, that'd probably be easier. Sometimes I don't know how to use my brain. I just like to do things the hard way. This is definitely giving me Grinchy vibes. Who knows? Maybe the Grinch made it. This cake is definitely giving me Grinch Christmas vibes. Yeah. It's kind of cute. Looks like a Christmas wreath. Sort of. Right. I need to wash my hands real quick, and then I'll show you the final product. It doesn't look that bad. It could be worse. Next time I'll make sure to have a piping bag. But it does look cute. Unfortunately, the taste test of it won't be available until Saturday, because this is for my family's Christmas get together. Why am I making it today? Because I have to work a very long shift tomorrow, so I'm not going to have time. Today's my only day off before the family get together. This is the only day I have. So dessert is done for Saturday. The only thing I got left to do is finish my wrapping, but I am done for today. I'll get to my dishes later. I'm tired. I am going to go sit and snuggle with my pooch and watch a movie. Enjoy the rest of my day off. But first, I gotta wrap this and put it in the fridge. I'm gonna let it cool down a little longer first. Have a good day, and Merry Christmas, y'all. So, verdict on the sugar cookie cake. It was very delicious, and there was barely anything left. Whatever was left, we brought home, and it was pretty much gone within the next day or two. But have a Merry Christmas, all.